Hey guys, it's Yohei from Eight Values. It's almost summer in Japan, and by summer I mean it's about to get humid as hell. So I'm kind of preparing for that. But yeah, today I kind of want to talk about why I'm building Eight Values. Eight Values is a job board for software engineers in Japan that are looking for like a great engineering team to join. And really, what makes us different is like we're completely focused on the team and the culture, and like that is the number one priority for Eight Values. I think what I want is for software engineers to have all the context that they need to choose the right team for them, like before they apply. So what usually happens is companies optimize their job descriptions and their company pages for like top of funnel numbers. So what that means is they want the job description that's easiest to write, that attracts the most amount of candidates. And what they try to do is they try to filter those candidates in each step in the pipeline, right? So during the resume screen, they might screen out people who they think don't have the technical skills or the experience required for the role. And then during the interview stage, they'll check again for like technical skill and then for culture fit. But I don't think this is super beneficial for software engineers, right? Because you have to go through a resume screen and like a take-home test usually just to understand or meet the team. And I think it'd be better just to front load all of this information, right? And so what Eight Values really allows you to do is you get to understand who's on the team and how they work before you apply. And the way we do this is by creating these values-based profiles, and the companies decide on what kind of values they want to emphasize to you. And like the emphasis is not so much on like just the values that they say they have, right? Because companies say they have values all the time, and unless you work at that company, like it's meaningless without the context that you need to understand. Like, what are the exceptions to this value? Why is it important in this company? How is that usually instantiated within your daily life as a software engineer? And so what we really do is we go deep into examples and details about every single value that the company says that they have. Like, for example, like, I don't know, if this company, Restart, right, they say they value work-life balance. Well, then you kind of want enough context and examples to understand like what that actually means for you as a software engineer. And so Restart, they give you 20 days of vacation days per year, and like that doesn't depend on the seniority. You work 40 hours a week and like never more than 40 hours a week. And I know this to be true because I used to work there. Um, and you also get to see like why this is a value. Like, why do they think it's important? And Eight Values is focused on also just the team, right? Because for me personally, like if a company has great people and I like the way that they work, like 80% of it is done. Like I know I'll be happy there basically. And that might be a personal thing for me because I don't care so much about like, I don't know, how prestigious a company is. Like I kind of want to work with people that I like kind of consider my friends. And so that's why Eight Values is focused on people. And like the way we introduce you to the people on the team is by creating long form podcast interviews with the founders and the engineers on the team. Like for example, like this is the CEO of Restart, right? And I interviewed him for an hour, and you can listen to this interview before you apply and see if he's the kind of person you would want to work with. In the podcast interview, I asked him about why he started the company and the challenges that he faces as a CEO and as a business, and also like what kind of company he's trying to build. I think this is important information to have before you apply, not something that you should get just like after all this stuff in an interview. And like the reason that I focus on culture and team is because I think the current like job search process is completely advantageous to companies, right? People get fired for being bad culture fits all the time, right? Like, oh, you have bad performance. Oh, you're not a good culture fit, right? And the companies, they don't do enough to communicate who they are and how they work to candidates. This is kind of what like recruiters are supposed to do, right? But I guess reviews are mixed, and companies just aren't very good at this, to be completely honest. Most of the companies that are on like my platform, they're like scaling, like they just raised their Series A and they just want to scale their engineering team, right? And so this is a new problem for them, right? Their expertise is in their domain, their product, the business that they're in, right? And recruiting is a problem that happens like when you're successful and like you have to solve it. But I think what happens is people put on their best behavior during the hour-long interview, and then they like aren't very good at explaining this is the kind of person that does really well here, and then this is the kind of person that wouldn't be so happy here. And so like once a software engineer gets accepted and like the company deems them not a good culture fit, like that really isn't so much the responsibility of the candidate, right? It's like the company sold them a bill of goods. And so I think companies should invest way more in this kind of communication. And honestly, like for Eight Values, it's completely free to create these kinds of profiles. Like we go off of the success-based model, which is if a candidate joins a company and stays there, I guess, for 90 days, then we get paid. And like that's our business model. Um, I don't know if this is really for everybody. Like, I know it's not for enterprise, like humongous companies and corporations. Like, I don't know, they have their the prestige associated with their brand, and I don't think they want to create these kinds of like profiles because they want to workshop the messaging. They want to like make sure that their company brand is in line with whatever the HR department says. Let's say, and so like this is basically a startup job board for software engineers who want to know who they're going to be working with and how they're going to be working with, like before they apply. Like that's kind of the service that I offer, right? My job is to get companies on this platform so that software engineers can have the information that they need to decide, like, hey, this company, I can be happy here.